Hello, viewers. I am Dr. Manish Billore and your host for today's edition of this podcast series. Today, we are going to talk about the paradigm shift that we have seen in placements. And to have this discussion with me today, we have Mr. Rishu Gupta, who is the co founder and director of Pod.ai, our placement partner and AI partner for SISTec. And we also have Mr. Prachi Shrivastava, who is heading the corporate relations department at SISTec. And we shall discuss about what has been the major changes in placement process, how placements have changed, and how it has been impacted the mindset of the recruiter and the student. So to begin with, I'll ask Mr. Rishu about how has been your journey for placements? How have you seen the placements scenario changing, particularly for the past 5 years? And as in your role as a recruiter and in your role as the co-founder and director of this wonderful company, Pod.ai, what's your perspective of the changing scenario of placements?
Okay, so my perspective on changing scenario is that now there is tons and tons of variety in the profiles that are on offer. Students have many aspirations, very specific aspirations. What companies are also looking for are very specific requirements, the right match. So it's about whether the student also thinks it's the right place for me. It's also the company thinks that's the right person for me. And it's not just having the broader or the foundation skills. It's also more about having the specific skills that and the expectation that I need to be able to jump into my work, being ready for it beforehand, right? So even that expectations from the organization, right, has changed quite a bit, where they might be happy with we having the basic skills earlier. Now they're expecting us to have the students have a broader skills, overall skills. And with the advent of AI, where AI can also handle a lot of things, now whether the students really can be proactive, can take leadership, can have problem solving skills, can have design skills, right? With we expecting AI to be able to do a lot of things for us. So there's a big paradigm shift which is currently happening. Industry is also trying to figure out where it will end up in a few years from now. And I think every institution and students are also kind of figuring it out. I think we are seeing a lot of changes currently,
Right.
on
Right.
that front. Yeah.
So on that note, Prachi, I would come to you. As we can understand, the industry is getting more and more demanding. Although the process also is becoming more and more easy, more and more automated, then when it comes to the perspective of a placement head in your role, preparing students for the upcoming challenges, how have you seen the entire scenario of placements changing over the past couple of years?
Yeah, sir. So to back down to 6 years, we are doing the entire process of placements manually, and that using the Excel sheets, during Google Sheets, and so on. So it is a taxing scenario where the students' data and the compliances, along with their procedures and the nitty processes, to be communicated on a very different level. And that has been chain of communication goes from HOD level to the TG level and then to students. So formal communication is being absent. And post that, the students who are performing, whether you selected some student and few are being rejected. So the process of their rejections and that to be well communicated to student, that particular thing become challenging for us also. So with the help of Pod.ai, when we have implemented the entire module, what we feel like there is a formal communication right from top to bottom, right from a student to parents to HOD level to faculty members to the mentors, trainers, even the leadership team and the management. So this gives us a transparent approach where on a one single platform, everybody will be in a position to see those, performance of the student. Secondly, what we have observed, like the entire team of mine, along with the, the workforce which I'm getting into placements, they will be working productively on the client requirements, on the outreach of HRs and the corporate alignment, instead only focusing on to data collection and everything. So with the help of Pod, what we have recently undergoing is the data analysis thing. So not only figuring out to the higher LPA or the average LPA, now we are figuring with the demographic and better parameter on the salary expectations also. It is also triggered from the student level things like selection of the profile, selection of the training curriculum, whether the student is performing on a aptitude model or the entire ELQ model or the technical forum. So all these things becomes really easy and well in place. Also, the communication becomes very formal. The best part, what I am experiencing, is the transparent approach, and that to analyze just on one click and to focus on the entire batch, not only with the data and the curriculum, but to their delivery part also. So there, how we have not only increased our larger scale of placements, but also we are focusing on more quality placements, more profiling, and to provide a better demographic outskirts to the students.
Yeah, Rishu, you just mentioned about an interesting example about matchmaking. And when we look at the real matchmaking cases, we see and we have often experienced that it's been difficult to find the right match. And in case you get a proper matchmaker, you ease out your life. Do you think there is a process of evolution of a system which is actually going to be a matchmaker?
I would say that is how it has to be, right? But the system can't operate in a silo. It can only work when all the stakeholders are all together and they are working for the betterment of a student on a day-to-day basis. Just what ma'am just said, I'm just taking the bit ahead. So ma'am, so what I've seen is, and at SISTec, we also do have the leverage of the experience of not just placements, but also working on the training side. So what's now happening is, students are not registering for certain opportunities versus the others. Students are attending, but certain students are able to clear aptitude of so and so company, but not of the others. They are great at coding, but they maybe are not good at group discussions, right? So what's happening across students with their profiles and all the assessment data being available, what we are also seeing is that it's helping the corporate reach out team to further decide what companies to invite, what specific needs our students have, what aspirations they have. But all this data is also going into trainings, and what we are seeing is rapid changes in the training curriculum to ensure that wherever the gaps are, right, or if the students have a talent for a very different profile which we didn't knew, now we start including them, right? So what I mean is, so the match keep making, what we are saying is, it's actually happening behind the scenes automatically, because everyone, your corporate team, your placement team, your training team, your assessments, your faculty, the student are actually working towards a common goal of we improving ourselves.
And to add on this, we have a certain, students where they find like, they have certain companies in their mind. This is my dream profile. This is my dream company. But where they are not marking properly about their preparation model. Okay, how I need to get this company cracked by the end of the year. So Pod.ai helping us to analyze those charts, and for each single student, we have this platter where we can identify on which particular assessment or the skill this student is lacking. So it is fine, like we are scoring 70 out of 100, but where those 30 are going, those 30% is actually on stake with respect to students' performance, and the trainers have to understand this is the area where students are lacking. So it gives a very, very simple scorecard with the students after end of every drive. We have this sheet of analysis, like where students are getting down in which round they have not performed well, whether it is assessment or the ELQ round, or it is a coding round, or they are not performing better in the interview. So once this analysis come directly to the students, it will be very good to understand where they are failing.
Ma'am has talked about how she's using data. In earlier, she also talked about using demographic data.
Yes.
What is great about what I've seen at SISTec also is they are using the data really the way it should be. For example, my students, we know where they have done their schooling from, where their permanent address is from, and so on. So they're using the demographic data, which school, which board,
Yes.
which city the student is coming from, and actually that also they know beforehand. Oh, these students, they end up going here. This is what they are missing, and
Yes.
they are conducting a lot of bridge courses now. So I'm telling you, like what she just mentioned, demographic data, we could just miss it. But actually how that demographic data is being used, that when now what's happening with this 4-6 years of preparation and data that is getting built, when the students are entering the college, already now things are in place that, oh, I
Yes.
need a specialized approach for these students.
Yes.
Just because it might not be from Bhopal city, that student needs a very different focus. Right? Was it a student being in Mumbai or Bangalore? Right? So I think
Right.
so that demographic. So I'm just trying to explain
And
that how
also
just
this
single
would-
data point can have.
So it's quite visible that digging out all those features and all those possibilities from the system, it becomes easier and becomes wise to find out the voids, find out the gaps, and perhaps with rigorous training, filling out those voids so that you can make the student perfect or close to perfect for a better placement. And if that is the case, what do you think must be the right approach for a student to get prepared himself or herself towards a better placement, including his or her own natural wisdom, natural intelligence, and of course, a couple of tools that are available these days?
Again, ma'am probably already dropped a hint towards it. So we are making everything available for students in terms of training modules, assessments, but is the student really willing to look deep inside, like students willing to look deep inside themselves? These are my aspirations,
Yes.
but where do I stand? And the roadmap being given to them, are they willing to work towards it on a day-to-day basis? If I'm doing that, then they will succeed, right? Just I go on social media, I'm listening to people, I'm scoring, not scoring, and I have high aspirations, but am I spending time towards really improving myself? Things are very basic. Everything is out there, and with everyone working together, right? At least in case of SISTec, right? So student, if the analysis is there, they start working towards it, take each baby step. Every semester certain goals,
Yes,
I think
yes.
you're already
So,
outlining.
right.
If they start doing that, and what has happened over here is that ma'am has out, like all this curriculum they have designing now based on complete analysis of placements, how it is continuously evolving based on the last 4 years. So there's like a proper plan based on where the student is coming from and so on, right? So that the student has to work
And
towards it.
also, I must say that, every year data speaks. So whenever why SISTec is in a position with all the, happening, whatever we are hearing from the outside world, what all things are on the challenging part. But still the placement is something which students are, satisfied, and they are pursuing further and move further. The reason behind that is the customized approach towards the student learning. This customized approach given is not only about the student profiling, but also, what exactly there in the mindset of students, and what exactly, because previously we are collecting data based on a student's will for a particular, a form they have writing their own things, like, these are my do's and don'ts and likes and dislikes. And based on that, how can any system can design about the career needs of the student. So this is how we have not even asking the students what we are asking them to undergo a proper process, strategize their needs, and assessments, which is corporately designed in the format so that the students will be having a niche idea what is happening in the inside world. Now, and to take that psychometric analysis also. So where I'm getting two things. Number one, what is there ongoing their mind, and number two is the basic, their productivity, how he is capable of doing better and better, and what are things to be focused on. So this gives us, okay, these are the category of students who will be placing in product company. These are the category of student placing better fit for the IT version. These are the students better for the core version, or these are good for the sales. So this parameters gives us a lot of scope to work on better corporates and the niche opportunities.
All right. So, nice talking to both of you. And what I could understand from both of you is while we are seeing a major paradigm shift in placements, but at the same time, we are also witnessing a lot of change in the process. We are also witnessing a lot of automation in the process, a lot of flexibility in the process. But as they say, where there is a will, there is a way. So it seems apart from the will, there also needs to be a wisdom, intelligence, be it natural or be it artificial. And if that is the case, perhaps students will be able to succeed in their lives, in their careers.
You actually have touched upon something very very important, and I think ma'am can help validate this. I think a few years back, right, ma'am and her team would be spending almost 80% of their time more on complete operations, informing students, ensuring they are there, right? Are the resumes in place, sending the right list to the corporates and everything. But now, if you look at the conversation, our 80% time
Is
is
actually getting into productive use.
into productive use.
What exactly we are
should
supposed
be
to do.
done?
Yes.
So what you said, automation. So we have reached this stage today because of the hard work that we have been doing, where the data that you're talking about is now a byproduct of automation, and it frees up our complete time to actually work for the betterment of students, right? So that is also, I think ma'am can add to it. I think that is another paradigm shift which has happened.
Yeah, rightly said. Previously it was really a time-consuming task where we are screening about the resumes and making up proper data for the companies and sharing on the basis of their percentage analysis and so on. Also, there are certain demands from the company sides, like they need a Java developers, or they need a Python developers, they need MERN stack developers. So it is really, really very simple these days. On one single click, I'm in a position to download the entire Excel. Students having a freedom to get the number of formats available on their portal, so that they can customize their resume with respect to each company they are desired to. Also, what it is a transparent model, which I'm again telling you, there should be a very transparency between the students and the system, and you need to adopt this automation process where both sides of the working with the help of this automation, both the sides, from the corporate sides, from the placement side, as well as from the student part, they will be in a position to see where this gap arises and what I need to improve myself. So by this, 80% of our task minimizes, and we are actually focusing on our productive, and most of the time we can invest in our productive use, where we are fetching companies, we are touching up the corporates, we are outreaching the institutions, and actually focusing on student development needs.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, thanks both of us for joining us here, and it's been a wonderful discussion with both of you. I hope this will add value to the students' preparedness, their preparation, and once it is done, dear viewers, I hope you shall be able to get benefited from these insights shared by Mr. Rishu Gupta and Ms. Prachi Shrivastava. So, thanks for this time, and see you in the next episode of this podcast.